When life pushes you, how do you respond? Most people react the same way every single time. When faced with challenges, they complain, they panic, they give up. But here's the secret. The difference between a life of struggle and a life of achievement isn't what happens to you. It's how you see it and how you respond. Your mind is your greatest tool. Train it. Mold it. Discipline it. When you learn to see the good in everything, no matter how hard life hits, you will always respond differently. And that, my friends, is where transformation begins. Life is full of moments designed to test your mindset. The traffic jam that makes you late, the colleague who undermines you, the failed opportunity you prayed for. These are not punishments. They are invitations. Invitations to grow, to strengthen, to prove to yourself that your mind is greater than the circumstances. If you wake up every day seeing life through the lens of what's wrong, you will attract more wrong. But if you train your mind to see what is good, even in small details, your life will shift. Suddenly, every setback becomes a lesson. Every disappointment becomes an opportunity. Every obstacle becomes a stepping stone. I want you to imagine this: a person walking through a storm. The wind is howling, the rain is pouring, lightning is striking all around. One person panics, trembles, and runs. Another lifts their face, embraces the storm, sees the beauty of rain nourishing the earth, hears the power of the wind shaping the trees, and walks forward with courage. Which person do you want to be? It's not about controlling the storm. It's about controlling your mind. It's about seeing the good that exists in every situation and choosing to respond differently than you did yesterday. Most people live their lives in autopilot. Life pushes them, they react in anger, frustration, fear, or bitterness. But you have a choice. You are not a slave to your circumstances. You can train your mind to see beyond what is obvious. You can find good where others see despair. You can respond with patience when others react with rage. You can respond with gratitude when others complain. Every situation is an opportunity to demonstrate the strength of your mind and the depth of your character. Here are 10 principles that will help you train your mind to see the good in everything and respond differently every time life pushes you. Life will constantly place you in situations that are beyond your control. A car breaks down, a friend betrays your trust, a project fails, an opportunity slips through your fingers. Most people feel trapped, as if life has done something to them that they cannot fix. But the truth, the undeniable truth, is that no matter what happens, you always have a choice. It doesn't matter how powerful the circumstance appears to be, how unfair the situation seems, or how heavy the burden feels. There is always a moment, a small moment, when you can choose your response. That moment is your power. That moment is where your life is truly defined. Imagine waking up in the morning and the first thing you see is a pile of bills that you cannot pay. Your mind immediately races to fear, panic, and frustration. The natural reaction is to complain, to blame others, or to fall into despair. But if you recognize your power of choice, you pause. You take a breath. You remind yourself that even in this seemingly hopeless moment, you can respond differently. You can respond with determination instead of fear. You can respond with action instead of complaining. You can respond with creativity instead of resignation. Your response shapes your tomorrow far more than the problem itself. This is why recognizing your power of choice is life-changing. Most people think they are defined by what happens to them, the accident, the insult, the failed relationship. But in reality, you are defined by what you do after it happens. A student fails an exam and cries for days, blaming the teacher, blaming the system, blaming luck. Another student fails the same exam, studies harder, seeks guidance, and comes back stronger. The difference between them is not intelligence or luck. It is the conscious decision to choose their response. The first allowed life to define them. The second chose to define life. Your power of choice is evident in the small, everyday moments as well. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Most people react with anger, honking, and frustration. But a person who recognizes their power of choice takes a deep breath, lets it pass, and maintains peace. The incident did not control their emotions. Their choice controlled the outcome. They may arrive at their destination calm, clear-headed, and ready to handle the next challenge, while the angry driver arrives stressed and drained. Every moment where you exercise this choice is a moment you reclaim your life. Think about your work environment. A colleague undermines you in a meeting. You have two choices: respond angrily and escalate conflict, or respond with composure, address the situation strategically, and turn the challenge into an opportunity to demonstrate professionalism. Your life is not shaped by the colleague's action. It is shaped by the response you choose. And this choice, repeated over time, creates the trajectory of your career, your relationships, and your inner peace. Recognizing your power of choice also applies to your thoughts. Life will fill your mind with challenges, doubts, fears, and negativity. Most people let these thoughts dictate their emotions and actions. But when you understand that you have the choice, you can intercept these thoughts. You can decide which ones to entertain and which ones to discard. You can choose hope over despair, courage over fear, gratitude over complaint, focus over distraction. The quality of your thoughts directly determines the quality of your life, and you hold the steering wheel. Consider the person facing health issues. A doctor delivers a frightening diagnosis, and the natural tendency is to panic, to feel hopeless, to surrender to fear. But even in that moment, there is a choice. You can choose to respond by educating yourself, taking care of your body, seeking proper treatment, and maintaining a positive mindset. You can respond with determination rather than despair. Your circumstances may be difficult, but your power to choose your response gives you control over your quality of life. Your body, your mind, your spirit, they respond to your choices, not just your circumstances. Life's most extraordinary transformations often come from ordinary moments where someone realized they had a choice. A single parent overwhelmed by responsibilities chooses patience instead of anger. A young entrepreneur rejected by investors chooses persistence instead of quitting. A student ignored by teachers chooses self-discipline instead of discouragement. These decisions, often unseen by others, shape destinies. Your power of choice is not in the grand gestures. It is in the consistent decisions to respond differently than your environment or past habits dictate. Every time you exercise your choice, you take control of your destiny. You refuse to be a passive participant in life, and instead you become an active creator. Even when life hits you with betrayal, loss, or failure, you are still free to respond with integrity, with vision, with resilience. The storms around you cannot touch the decisions within you. Your mind, your attitude, your actions, they are yours to command. Daily life is full of reminders. The rude comment on social media, the friend who disappoints, the project that falls apart, the unexpected expense, the argument with a loved one. Each of these moments tests your awareness of choice. Do you lash out? Do you complain? Do you allow bitterness to grow? Or do you pause, see the situation clearly, and respond in a way that elevates you instead of dragging you down? The choice is always yours. It may not be easy, it may not be immediate, but it is yours. When you recognize your power of choice, you step into a place of true freedom. You no longer see life as a series of events happening to you. You see life as a canvas and your responses as the brushstrokes. The painting of your life is not created by circumstance. It is created by the choices you make in every moment. You begin to understand that your destiny is not dictated by what happens, but by how you respond to what happens. So look around at your daily life. Notice the moments where you react automatically. Notice the moments where you feel powerless. Now imagine replacing those reactions with conscious choices. Imagine responding with wisdom instead of anger, with patience instead of frustration, with courage instead of fear. Your life changes instantly. The ordinary becomes extraordinary. The small becomes monumental. The challenges that once defeated you now serve as stepping stones. Every response becomes a declaration of your power. Every choice a testament to your mastery of your own life. Life is filled with challenges, obstacles, and unexpected twists that often catch us off guard. When something goes wrong, the natural instinct of most people is to ask, why me? They feel singled out, unfairly treated, or victimized by circumstances. But the truth, the undeniable truth, is that challenges are not punishments, they are invitations. They are invitations to grow, to expand, to see life from a new perspective, and to become the person you are truly capable of being. When you reframe every challenge, you stop being a victim of circumstance and start being a master of your own destiny. Imagine a young professional who loses a job unexpectedly. The initial reaction is panic, fear, and anger. The first question is almost always, why me? Why now? What did I do to deserve this? These are natural thoughts, but they trap the mind in limitation. Now imagine this same person pauses, takes a deep breath, and asks instead, what is this teaching me? How can I grow from this? What doors are opening that I cannot yet see? The entire perspective changes. The loss is no longer just a setback. It becomes an opportunity for discovery, for new skills, for building resilience, and for finding a path that may be even greater than the one that ended. Daily life gives us countless opportunities to practice this. A parent raising children may face constant exhaustion, misbehavior, and disappointment. It is easy to look at these moments and feel frustrated, defeated, or angry. But when a parent reframes the challenge, they see each moment of difficulty as a lesson in patience, empathy, and creativity. The child's rebellion becomes a chance to teach boundaries, communication, and respect. The long nights of worry become lessons in perseverance and unconditional love. The perspective shifts, and what once felt burdensome becomes deeply meaningful. Consider a student preparing for a major exam who fails despite all their effort. The immediate thought is discouragement, the belief that they are not capable. But when reframed, the failure is no longer a final verdict. It becomes a teacher. It shows where knowledge is lacking, where strategy can be improved, and how perseverance can be strengthened. The challenge becomes a blueprint for improvement rather than a reason to quit. Every difficulty contains within it a message, a lesson, and an opportunity for growth, but only if the mind is trained to seek it. Reframing also changes how we interact with others. Imagine a colleague criticizes your work harshly in front of a team. The instinct is to feel hurt, to retaliate, or to withdraw. Yet, if you reframe the challenge, you see the criticism as a mirror reflecting areas of improvement, a test of emotional control, and a chance to demonstrate professionalism. The colleague's words are no longer a personal attack. They become a guide, a spark for development, and an opportunity to show strength of character. Life's challenges are often subtle and disguised in ways that test our perception. A traffic jam may seem like a mere annoyance, a daily inconvenience, or wasted time. But when reframed, it can be a moment to practice patience, to reflect on priorities, or even to enjoy a podcast or audiobook that expands your mind. A disagreement with a friend is not merely conflict. It is a chance to practice communication, empathy, and understanding. The world constantly presents us with lessons hidden in ordinary experiences, waiting for us to recognize and act upon them. Financial struggles are one of the most common challenges people face. Losing money, facing debt, or missing opportunities often triggers fear and frustration. Yet, reframing this difficulty allows you to ask, what is this teaching me about management, resourcefulness, and resilience? Each dollar lost becomes a teacher, each mistake a guide, each hardship a blueprint for smarter decisions in the future. The mind that reframes sees value in every circumstance and refuses to waste experience on regret. Relationships, too, carry hidden lessons when reframed. A partner who disappoints, a friend who betrays, or a family member who misunderstands can be seen as adversaries when viewed through frustration or anger. But when reframed, each relationship challenge becomes a classroom for understanding, forgiveness, and emotional intelligence. These experiences teach boundaries, reveal personal triggers, and show how to communicate with clarity and compassion. The challenge is no longer a wound, but a stepping stone toward maturity and emotional freedom. Even health challenges carry hidden lessons. An illness or injury may feel like a cruel interruption in life, but when reframed, it becomes a teacher of resilience, self-care, and gratitude. It teaches the value of each breath, the strength of perseverance, and the importance of supporting and nurturing the body and mind. Difficulties in health help push the mind to find inner resources, to adapt, and to grow stronger in ways that easy circumstances never would. The practice of reframing challenges is not a one-time event. It is a lifestyle. It is a way of training the mind to see beyond what is visible, to seek the lesson hidden beneath the surface, and to respond with wisdom instead of reaction. The more you practice, the more automatic it becomes. Instead of asking, why me? In every situation, you instinctively ask, what is this teaching me? And this question alone changes the trajectory of your life. It transforms problems into opportunities, setbacks into growth, and obstacles into bridges to your next level. In essence, every challenge you face is not an enemy, it is a guide. It is life's way of showing you the path you need to travel to become stronger, wiser, and more capable. The mind that masters the art of reframing sees good where others see despair, finds lessons where others see failure, and creates opportunity where others see only obstacles. It is not the absence of challenges that creates greatness. It is the ability to reframe them, to see beyond the pain, and to extract the wisdom hidden within every difficulty. Every morning, when you wake up, you are presented with a choice. You can focus on what is missing in your life, the struggles you face, the bills you cannot pay, the opportunities that have not yet come, or you can focus on what is present, what is working, and what you already have. The moment you choose to focus on what is good, you begin to transform your mind, your heart, and your entire life. Gratitude is not just a polite habit or a spiritual suggestion. It is a powerful force that rewires your brain to notice abundance instead of lack, opportunities instead of obstacles, blessings instead of problems. Consider the person who wakes up and complains about their job, the long hours, the difficult boss, and the low pay. The mind immediately fills with frustration and resentment. This perspective attracts more negativity, more stress, and more resistance from life. Now imagine if instead the same person wakes up and focuses on what their job provides: a steady income, skills to learn, people to connect with, and the chance to make a difference. Suddenly their mind shifts, their energy shifts. They start seeing possibilities instead of problems, solutions instead of dead ends, and this shift in perspective begins to open doors they never noticed before. Gratitude works like a magnet. The more you focus on what is good, the more good comes into your life. When you notice the smile of a friend, the kindness of a stranger, the small victories you achieve, or even the lessons hidden in mistakes, your mind begins to operate differently. You stop being trapped in the mentality of not enough and start living in the awareness of abundance. This does not mean you ignore challenges or difficulties. It means you refuse to allow them to dominate your vision. You see the storm, but you also see the rainbow. You feel the rain, but you notice the flowers growing in the mud. Daily life is filled with examples of how gratitude can transform ordinary moments into extraordinary experiences. A parent struggling to raise children may feel overwhelmed by the constant demands, messes, and arguments. But when the parent pauses and focuses on gratitude, they begin to see the laughter in their children's eyes, the creativity in their imagination, and the growth they are nurturing in tiny human hearts. Suddenly, the chaos is not just chaos. It becomes a source of purpose, joy, and connection. The same challenges remain, but the parent's mind has shifted, and with that shift, their energy, decisions, and happiness improve dramatically. Think about relationships. It is easy to focus on what your partner lacks, the mistakes they make, or the times they disappoint you. Most people allow these observations to fill their mind with frustration and resentment. But when you practice gratitude daily, you begin to notice their kindness, their support, the moments they make you laugh, and the ways they have shown love even when it was difficult. Your mind begins to focus on the positive patterns, not the flaws, and this focus draws more positive behavior, deeper connection, and stronger bonds. Your gratitude becomes a feedback loop of growth and harmony. Financial struggles, too, can be reframed through gratitude. Most people focus on the money they do not have, the bills that seem impossible to pay, and the opportunities they missed. This mindset attracts more lack, more stress, and more despair. But when you pause each day and express gratitude for what you do have, the small income, the skills you possess, the people who support you, the food on your table, your mind shifts. Suddenly, your focus moves from scarcity to resourcefulness. Opportunities you once overlooked become visible. Doors that seemed closed begin to open. Your energy and confidence increase because your mind is tuned to see solutions rather than problems. Gratitude also rewires your mind to find lessons and blessings in adversity. A person facing a difficult diagnosis, a failed project, or a challenging loss can feel despair if their mind is fixed only on what is wrong. But when they practice gratitude, even for small things, a caring nurse, a lesson learned, the strength to endure, they begin to see that life is not simply against them. There is still good present, there is still reason to hope, and there is still power in their hands to respond wisely. Gratitude allows the mind to transform suffering into growth, challenges into wisdom, and pain into perspective. The act of gratitude is more than just saying thank you. It is a conscious focus on noticing, appreciating, and celebrating what is already present. When you practice this daily, your mind stops being a battlefield of complaints and fears, and it becomes a fertile ground for opportunities, creativity, and joy. Even mundane moments, like a cup of coffee in the morning, a cool breeze, or a smile from a stranger, begin to carry power because your mind has been trained to recognize goodness. The ordinary becomes extraordinary, the routine becomes meaningful, and life itself becomes a gift instead of a burden. Even in moments when life feels heavy and unfair, gratitude reminds you of your own power. It reminds you that you are not entirely defined by circumstances, by setbacks, or by what others do or do not give you. It reminds you that the lens through which you see the world shapes your experience. The more you practice gratitude, the more your mind instinctively seeks the good, the possibilities, and the blessings that others often overlook. Imagine a person who wakes up every day and lists 10 things they are grateful for. At first, it may feel awkward or forced. They may think, I don't have much to be grateful for. But as the days pass, their mind begins to scan life differently. They notice kindness where they once saw rudeness, opportunity where they once saw dead ends, love where they once saw neglect. Their energy changes, their relationships improve, and even their circumstances begin to respond to their new perspective. Gratitude has rewired their mind to see abundance, to attract more good, and to respond to life with clarity, focus, and optimism. This daily practice, repeated over time, becomes a habit that transforms the mind, the heart, and the life. It is not passive. It is a conscious, intentional, and powerful act that trains your mind to see goodness in every situation, to notice opportunities hidden in challenges, and to respond to life in ways that create more joy, more growth, and more abundance. Gratitude is the key that unlocks the mind's full potential, allowing you to live not in fear or frustration, but in empowerment, clarity, and unshakable optimism. Life is full of moments that trigger strong emotions. A sudden insult, an unexpected loss, a betrayal, or a critical mistake can overwhelm the mind and make you feel as if the world is against you. Most people allow these feelings to dictate their responses, and as a result, they react in ways that escalate problems rather than solve them. The key to mastering your life is learning to separate facts from emotions. Feelings are powerful, but they are often unreliable guides. They are like wild horses. They have strength and energy, but if you let them run unchecked, they can carry you in the wrong direction. Your mind must become the rider, disciplined, focused, and clear, able to see the truth beneath the storm of emotions. Consider a person who is told that their work project failed. Instantly, fear rises, panic sets in, and anger at themselves or others emerges. The immediate reaction is to blame, to worry, or to shut down. If they act purely on these emotions, the situation worsens. Deadlines are missed, relationships at work are strained, and opportunities slip away. But if they pause, separate the facts from the emotions, and ask, what exactly happened? What can be learned? What steps can I take to improve? The entire outcome changes. The fear and anger remain, but no longer control the response. The facts guide the action. The emotions become signals rather than dictators. Everyday life is full of examples where separating facts from emotions transforms ordinary decisions into extraordinary outcomes. A parent frustrated by a child's repeated mistakes may feel anger and disappointment. The emotional reaction might be yelling, punishing, or withdrawing love. But if the parent separates facts from emotions, they see that the child is learning, growing, and making mistakes as part of development. The anger and frustration become indicators that patience and guidance are needed, but they do not dictate destructive behavior. The parent can respond thoughtfully, teach effectively, and preserve the child's trust and confidence. In relationships, the need to separate facts from emotions is even more critical. Imagine a partner misses a dinner or forgets an important date. The immediate emotional reaction might be hurt, jealousy, or resentment. If acted upon impulsively, it can escalate into an argument that damages the relationship. But when facts are considered, perhaps the partner was overwhelmed at work or dealing with a personal issue, the emotional energy transforms into understanding and compassion. The response becomes constructive instead of destructive. The relationship grows stronger, and the emotional storm passes without leaving lasting damage. Financial challenges provide another powerful example. Receiving news of a sudden expense or loss can trigger fear, panic, or shame. Most people respond emotionally by freezing, complaining, or making hasty, irrational decisions that worsen their situation. But when the facts are separated from emotions, how much is truly lost? What is still available? What actions are possible? The mind sees opportunity instead of disaster. The fear signals caution, but it no longer controls the decisions. Clarity replaces confusion, and the path forward becomes visible. Even in health crises, the principle of separating facts from emotions is vital. When someone hears a difficult diagnosis, the first reaction is often terror, sadness, and hopelessness. These emotions are natural, but if acted upon impulsively, they can lead to despair or poor decision-making. By taking a step back, separating the factual medical information from the emotional reaction, a person can make informed decisions about treatment, lifestyle, and support systems. Emotions signal urgency, but the facts guide action, creating hope, strength, and resilience. At work, separating facts from emotions is essential in leadership. A manager receives criticism from their team or superiors. Reacting emotionally might result in defensiveness, anger, or punishment, which erodes trust and undermines authority. But a leader who separates facts from emotions evaluates the criticism objectively. They identify legitimate points for improvement, distinguish subjective opinions from reality, and act strategically. The emotional energy becomes a tool for reflection and growth rather than a weapon that destroys influence and credibility. This practice also transforms personal growth. Every time life triggers fear, anger, or frustration, most people allow these emotions to dictate their choices, leading to regret or stagnation. Separating facts from emotions trains the mind to pause, observe, and act with wisdom. A person walking through traffic, facing rude drivers, or experiencing delays may initially feel anger and impatience. But by identifying the facts, the road conditions, the timing, and the reality of being late, the emotional reaction is moderated. They respond calmly, make better decisions, and arrive at their destination without unnecessary stress or conflict. Emotions are indicators, but facts are guides. When you allow emotions to dominate, you are enslaved to circumstances. When you allow facts to guide your decisions, you become the master of your life. Consider the story of someone accused of wrongdoing at work. Initial emotions may be fear, shame, and anxiety. If acted upon, panic may lead to defensive lies or rash decisions that worsen the situation. By separating facts from emotions, the person focuses on evidence, witnesses, and logical steps to defend themselves. Fear remains, but it becomes energy for careful action rather than destructive behavior. The result is resolution, growth, and strengthened integrity. Training the mind to separate facts from emotions is not easy, but it is essential. It requires awareness, discipline, and repeated practice. Every time life provokes strong feelings, you have the opportunity to pause, identify what is real, and respond intentionally. Every time you do this, you build mastery over your mind, your choices, and your destiny. The storms of life may rage, but your clarity becomes a shield, your wisdom becomes a compass, and your life begins to flow with purpose rather than chaos. Understanding this principle transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary lessons. Arguments, failures, disappointments, and surprises are no longer overwhelming. They become opportunities to practice emotional intelligence, to exercise wisdom, and to respond with intention. The mind trained to separate facts from emotions sees clearly, acts decisively, and creates outcomes that most people believe are impossible because they are trapped in the tyranny of uncontrolled feelings. Daily life constantly offers tests. Someone speaks harshly to you, an opportunity fails, a loved one disappoints, a mistake is made. These events will always trigger emotions. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary lives is how the mind handles these triggers. The mind that separates facts from emotions refuses to be controlled by fear, anger, or frustration. It observes, evaluates, and responds with precision. Each decision becomes intentional, each action becomes purposeful, and life becomes a reflection of mastery rather than reaction. Life often places us in situations where the immediate reaction is doubt, fear, or despair. A project fails, an opportunity is missed, a relationship struggles, or circumstances seem to collapse. Most people focus on the negative, rehearsing every reason why things will not work, why they are unlucky, or why failure is inevitable. But the mind that anticipates the positive outcome refuses to live in that cycle of doubt. It trains itself to look beyond immediate appearances, to see opportunity where others see defeat, and to expect growth even in apparent failure. This mindset does not ignore reality. It acknowledges it, but it chooses to focus on what is possible rather than what is impossible. Imagine an entrepreneur whose first business venture fails. The natural response might be shame, fear, and discouragement, thinking that success is not for them. But if they anticipate a positive outcome, they shift the perspective. They ask, what lessons can I take from this failure? What knowledge have I gained that I could not have learned otherwise? What connections, strategies, or insights have emerged that will prepare me for the next attempt? Suddenly, the failure is no longer a permanent defeat. It becomes a stepping stone, a preparation ground for the next success. Daily life provides countless examples of how anticipating a positive outcome changes behavior. A student who performs poorly on an exam can either focus on the embarrassment, the fear of failure, and the criticism from others, or they can anticipate the positive outcome of their effort. By focusing on what they can learn, what strategies will improve their performance, and how persistence will build skill and confidence, they turn what seemed like defeat into a path toward achievement. Their mind begins seeking solutions rather than excuses, and every study session, every question every review becomes purposeful rather than burdensome. Anticipating positive outcomes also transforms relationships. When a disagreement occurs, the emotional tendency is to assume the worst, that the relationship is damaged beyond repair, that the other person is unwilling to change, or that conflict will escalate. But a person who expects a positive outcome sees the disagreement as a chance to communicate more clearly, to understand perspectives, and to deepen trust. They approach the situation with calm and focus, looking for resolutions and growth. The energy they bring invites collaboration rather than conflict, healing rather than resentment, and long-term strength rather than short-term anger. Workplace challenges offer another clear example. A manager assigned to lead a team through a failing project can either focus on the impending collapse, blame, and panic, or they can anticipate a positive outcome. By visualizing success, they direct their team towards solutions, encourage creativity, and implement strategies that may have been overlooked. The positive expectation inspires confidence, fuels action, and turns a potential failure into an opportunity for innovation, teamwork, and leadership growth. The mindset of expecting good outcomes begins to shape reality because the energy behind expectation drives decision-making and effort. Even in health and personal struggles, anticipating a positive outcome reshapes experience. Someone facing a medical challenge can either surrender to fear, imagining worst-case scenarios and paralysis, or they can anticipate recovery, learning, and resilience. By focusing on what they can do to support healing, what lessons the experience may offer, and what strength they can build through adversity, they channel their energy into action rather than despair. Anticipation of the positive outcome fuels patience, compliance, and determination, increasing the likelihood of actual recovery and growth. Anticipating positive outcomes is also a daily exercise in mindset discipline. When traffic delays make you late, when a coworker irritates you, when plans change unexpectedly, the immediate reaction may be frustration and anger. But if you train your mind to anticipate positive outcomes, you look for the benefit in each situation. Perhaps the delay allows time to reflect. Perhaps the irritation is teaching patience. Perhaps the change opens an unexpected opportunity. The mind begins to see every disruption not as a threat but as a hidden blessing. This principle transforms how people approach risk and opportunity. Most individuals avoid challenges because they focus on potential failure, the embarrassment, or the discomfort. But someone who anticipates positive outcomes understands that every risk carries a lesson, every challenge carries growth, and every setback carries insight. The expectation of benefit, even in failure, fuels courage, perseverance, and creativity. It allows people to step forward when others hesitate, to innovate when others retreat, and to succeed where others see only obstacles. Even in the smallest details of daily life, anticipating the positive outcome shifts energy and focus. A parent guiding a child through a difficult task may anticipate the child's eventual success, rather than focusing solely on mistakes. A teacher correcting students may expect that learning will occur despite errors. A friend resolving a misunderstanding may anticipate reconciliation rather than prolonged conflict. In every case, this mindset reshapes interactions, outcomes, and energy. Anticipating the positive outcome is not wishful thinking. It is disciplined expectation, a training of the mind to look beyond fear, doubt, and limitation, and to focus on what can be gained. It transforms perception, behavior, and results. When you expect that even failure contains opportunity, your mind starts seeking solutions rather than excuses, discovering possibilities rather than problems, and moving toward growth rather than stagnation. Each action becomes intentional, each decision purposeful, each setback temporary. Life will challenge, disappoint, and surprise, but the mind that anticipates positive outcomes sees beyond the immediate difficulty. It sees potential, it sees lessons, it sees opportunity. The same situation that would paralyze one person inspires action, creativity, and resilience in another. The power of expectation shapes reality, and when you consistently anticipate good outcomes, even in apparent failure, your energy aligns with solutions, your actions attract opportunities, and your life moves in the direction of growth, abundance, and fulfillment. Life will constantly place you in situations that provoke strong emotions. Someone may cut you off in traffic, a colleague may insult you, a loved one may disappoint you, or an unexpected problem may arise. The natural reaction is to respond immediately, often with anger, frustration, or panic. Most people never stop to consider that in the moment of reaction lies the difference between success and failure, peace and chaos, growth and regret. The ability to pause before reacting is one of the most powerful you can develop. because a calm mind always responds more effectively than a reactive one. Imagine a person receiving an email from their boss criticizing their work. The instant emotional response is to feel anger, embarrassment, or defensiveness. If they respond immediately, typing in haste, the result is often conflict, misunderstanding, or damage to their reputation. But if they pause, take a deep breath, and give themselves time to process, they separate emotion from fact. They can review the content carefully, consider constructive feedback, and respond thoughtfully. Suddenly, the same situation that would have led to regret becomes an opportunity to demonstrate professionalism, composure, and intelligence. Daily life is full of moments where pausing before reacting transforms ordinary experiences into extraordinary outcomes. A parent frustrated by a child's misbehavior may feel the urge to yell, punish, or withdraw love. If they act on the impulse, the child may feel resentment, fear, or discouragement. But if the parent pauses, takes a moment to breathe, and thinks carefully, they can respond with guidance, patience, and teaching. The child learns lessons without fear, and the relationship grows stronger. The simple act of pausing before reacting changes not only behavior, but also the trajectory of relationships and personal growth. Consider a traffic scenario. Someone cuts you off on the highway. The immediate impulse is anger, honking, or chasing them to confront them. Most people act without thinking, and the result is stress, danger, and wasted energy. A person who has trained themselves to pause observes the situation, breathes deeply, and responds calmly. They maintain safety, preserve peace, and prevent an unnecessary escalation. The act of pausing transforms a moment that could become chaos into an opportunity to exercise control, patience, and emotional mastery. At work, pausing before reacting is equally transformative. When a team member criticizes your idea during a meeting, your initial reaction may be defensive, aggressive, or dismissive. If you pause, listen carefully, and consider the perspective, your response changes. You may find value in their insight, address misunderstandings, and respond in a way that strengthens collaboration rather than eroding it. Leaders who master the pause inspire respect, trust, and followership because their calm responses demonstrate wisdom, confidence, and control. Even in personal life, pausing before reacting can prevent unnecessary conflict. Imagine a loved one forgetting an important date or making a mistake that affects you. Your initial emotional reaction might be hurt, resentment, or anger. Most people react immediately, escalating the situation. A person who pauses considers context, evaluates the facts, and chooses a response that is measured and constructive. The result is improved communication, strengthened bonds, and a peaceful resolution rather than lingering tension. Pausing before reacting also trains your mind to think strategically rather than impulsively. A student facing criticism from a teacher or peer can either react defensively and damage relationships, or pause, consider the feedback, and use it to improve performance. The pause creates a space for reflection, evaluation, and creativity. It allows you to respond with intelligence rather than emotion, to transform challenges into learning opportunities, and to take control of your own growth instead of being controlled by external pressures. Even in moments of personal loss or disappointment, pausing before reacting can reshape the experience. Receiving bad news about health, finances, or relationships naturally triggers fear, grief, or frustration. Most people respond impulsively, making decisions that worsen circumstances or increase suffering. Pausing, breathing, and reflecting allows the mind to assess the situation calmly, explore options, and act wisely. This intentional response fosters resilience, problem solving, and emotional stability, turning hardship into opportunity. Pausing before reacting is not about suppressing emotions. It is about creating a space where emotions can be observed, understood, and managed. Emotions provide energy and information, but they are not always reliable guides. The moment you pause, you transform reactive energy into conscious action. You gain clarity, perspective, and control. The pause becomes a tool of empowerment, allowing you to respond with wisdom rather than react with impulse, to navigate life's challenges with skill rather than struggle, and to influence outcomes positively rather than allow circumstances to dominate you. Even small moments in daily interactions demonstrate the power of pausing. A casual insult from a stranger, a rude comment on social media, a friend's thoughtless remark. These can trigger immediate emotional reactions that escalate unnecessarily. Pausing allows you to assess intent, context, and consequences. You respond calmly, with dignity, and without regret. The act of pausing becomes a habit, reshaping not only responses, but also the perception others have of you. People notice composure, maturity, and self-control, and your life begins to reflect the results of thoughtful action rather than impulsive reaction. The practice of pausing before reacting transforms ordinary life into a deliberate journey. Every challenging situation becomes an opportunity to exercise self-control, emotional intelligence, and wisdom. Every relationship, every interaction, every difficulty becomes a classroom for mastery. The mind trained to pause responds with clarity, sees possibilities, and acts with purpose. The energy of frustration, anger, or fear is channeled into thoughtful decisions that create positive outcomes. Life continues to challenge, provoke, and surprise, but the person who has mastered the pause navigates it with grace, strength, and intentionality. Pausing before reacting is the difference between ordinary and extraordinary lives. It is the secret of leaders, thinkers, and visionaries. It allows you to see the truth beyond immediate perception, to act strategically rather than impulsively, and to turn every potential conflict into opportunity, every challenge into growth, and every emotional trigger into mastery of self. Life will place people in your path who disappoint you, frustrate you, or even hurt you. It is natural to notice these actions, to feel offended, or to carry resentment. Most people allow these experiences to define how they see others, how they respond, and even how they feel about themselves. But the mind that sees others through a lens of good refuses to be trapped by negativity. It chooses to look beyond flaws, beyond mistakes, and beyond temporary failures, focusing instead on what is admirable, valuable, or teachable in every person. This does not mean ignoring harm or pretending that everything is perfect. It means training your mind to seek the good, to learn from every interaction, and to maintain energy that elevates rather than depletes. Consider a colleague who consistently makes mistakes at work. The natural reaction is frustration, judgment, or avoidance. Most people focus on the errors and allow resentment to build. But a person who sees others through a lens of good pauses to consider the strengths behind the mistakes. Maybe the colleague is learning, maybe they have unique creativity, maybe they offer perspectives that no one else sees. By noticing these qualities, the frustration diminishes and the energy shifts from irritation to constructive guidance. The interaction changes from a drain to an opportunity for growth. Not just for them, but for yourself as well. Relationships in daily life offer countless examples of this principle. A friend may forget an important promise or act carelessly, leaving you hurt or disappointed. The instinct is to withdraw, judge, or harbor bitterness. But when you see the friend through a lens of good, you look for the intention behind the action, the moments when they have shown care, and the lessons embedded in the disappointment. Perhaps they are learning, perhaps circumstances distracted them, perhaps the mistake reveals how communication can improve. By focusing on the good, you maintain harmony, preserve connection, and transform hurt into wisdom. Even family members, the people closest to us, provide opportunities to practice this principle. A sibling, parent, or spouse may say or do things that irritate, disappoint, or anger you. It is easy to allow these moments to dominate your perception of them. Most people carry grudges, replay offenses, and allow negativity to define their interactions. The mind trained to see others through a lens of good chooses to notice their sacrifices, their efforts, their love, and their intentions, even if imperfectly expressed. This awareness transforms interactions from conflict into understanding and from frustration into empathy. Seeing others through a lens of good also transforms work, relationships, and leadership. Employees may fail to meet expectations, clients may be demanding, colleagues may misunderstand, and supervisors may criticize. The instinct is to focus on faults, blame, or resentment. But the mind that seeks good notices effort, potential, unique skills, and positive intentions. Even criticism, when filtered through this lens, becomes feedback rather than attack. The energy in the workplace shifts, trust builds, and collaboration flourishes. The lens of good does not blind you to reality. It directs your energy towards solutions, growth, and harmony. Daily encounters with strangers also test this principle. Someone cuts in line, speaks harshly, or acts impatiently. The natural reaction is anger or judgment. Yet the mind trained to see others through a lens of good asks questions quietly. What struggles might they be facing? What pressures might be affecting their behavior? What can this teach me about patience or empathy? Suddenly, the situation transforms from a trigger for frustration into an opportunity for emotional mastery and compassion. The energy you carry shifts from negativity to calm, from reaction to reflection, and from conflict to understanding. Children provide one of the clearest examples of this mindset. When a child acts out, disobeys, or challenges authority, the immediate response is often irritation, punishment, or anger. But when parents see the child through a lens of good, they focus on the child's curiosity, creativity, intelligence, and potential for growth. Mistakes become lessons. Misbehavior becomes teaching moments, and the energy in the home shifts from tension to guidance. The child grows, the parent grows, and the relationship deepens. Even in moments of betrayal or deep disappointment, this principle holds. Someone may act selfishly, deceive, or hurt you. The natural response is anger, revenge, or withdrawal. But the mind that sees others through a lens of good looks beyond the surface action. It asks, what is this person struggling with? What can I learn from this? What strengths or good intentions remain in them? By focusing on the good, you maintain inner peace, avoid unnecessary suffering, and transform pain into insight. Your energy remains elevated rather than drained. Your choices remain intentional rather than reactive. And your interactions are shaped by wisdom rather than emotion. Seeing others through a lens of good is also a daily practice of perspective. The world is filled with people who are flawed, fallible, and sometimes frustrating. The default human tendency is to focus on shortcomings, mistakes, and offenses. But when you intentionally train your mind to notice the good, your relationships, decisions, and energy transform. The lens of good does not mean ignoring reality. It means choosing to prioritize what elevates, inspires, and contributes to growth. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to see strengths, cultivate understanding, and generate positive energy that ripples into every area of life. This mindset shapes not only how you see others, but also how others respond to you. People naturally gravitate toward those who see their value, who notice their effort, and who focus on the good in them. Conflicts resolve faster, trust grows deeper, and cooperation becomes effortless. Your energy shifts from criticism and judgment to encouragement and appreciation. Life becomes less about enduring frustration and more about experiencing connection, understanding, and growth. When you consistently see others through a lens of good, your world transforms. The people who once frustrated you now become teachers, guides, and collaborators. The energy you carry uplifts rather than drains, heals rather than harms, and inspires rather than discourages. Your mind focuses on growth, your heart focuses on empathy, and your life becomes a reflection of abundance, understanding, and the extraordinary potential hidden in every human being. Life will constantly place you in situations that push you out of your comfort zone. The human instinct is to avoid discomfort, to seek ease, to retreat from pain, struggle, or challenge. Most people spend their lives building walls around comfort, arranging routines that minimize difficulty, and avoiding anything that threatens their sense of security. But the truth, the undeniable truth, is that growth and comfort rarely coexist. Every person who has achieved greatness, mastery, or success has done so by stepping into discomfort, by embracing challenges, and by prioritizing growth over ease. Consider the student who struggles with a difficult subject. The easy choice is to avoid it, to give up, or to focus only on areas that come naturally. The student who chooses comfort stagnates. They may pass, but they will not excel, they will not grow. The student who chooses growth faces long hours, frustration, mistakes, and the fear of failure. But with every struggle, every challenge, and every step outside their comfort zone, they expand their mind, strengthen their resolve, and move closer to mastery. Discomfort becomes a teacher, resistance becomes fuel, and growth becomes inevitable. Daily life offers countless examples of this principle. A young professional may feel exhausted, overwhelmed, or intimidated by taking on a new role, leading a challenging project, or accepting responsibility that feels beyond their ability. The easy path is to decline, to stay in a role that feels safe and familiar. The path of growth requires effort, courage, and persistence. But those who choose growth, who step into challenges despite fear, discover hidden strengths, develop new skills, and build resilience. The discomfort is temporary, but the benefits endure for a lifetime. Even in relationships, growth rarely comes from comfort. Building deep connection, trust, and understanding often requires difficult conversations, vulnerability, and confronting conflict. The comfortable choice is to avoid confrontation, to suppress feelings, or to maintain superficial harmony. The choice for growth requires courage, honesty, and effort. A relationship that grows through discomfort becomes stronger, more resilient, and more meaningful. The temporary pain of difficult conversations creates lasting intimacy and connection, while comfort alone leads to stagnation and unfulfilled potential. Financial growth is another area where comfort is the enemy. Most people settle for predictable, safe, and small sources of income. The risk of investing, starting a business, or learning a new skill may feel uncomfortable, intimidating, or uncertain. But the person who prioritizes growth, who faces the fear and navigates the uncertainty, creates opportunity, wealth, and independence that comfort could never provide. Discomfort is the price of progress, and the mind that embraces it turns fear into action, risk into opportunity, and struggle into a stepping stone towards success. Even health and personal development operate on this principle. Exercising, dieting, learning, and pushing physical limits are uncomfortable. The muscles ache, the mind resists, and temptation lures you toward ease. The person focused on comfort stops, hesitates, or settles for less. The person focused on growth endures the strain, adapts to the challenge, and emerges stronger, fitter, and more disciplined. Discomfort in the moment produces strength for a lifetime. Daily routines also test this mindset. Waking early, practicing discipline, studying long hours, or maintaining focus when distractions abound feels uncomfortable. The easy choice is to sleep in, procrastinate, or give in to fleeting pleasures. The choice for growth demands consistency, sacrifice, and effort. Yet those who commit to growth discover that every act of discipline compounds over time. The discomfort of today becomes the foundation of success tomorrow. Every challenge embraced expands capacity, fortifies character, and deepens understanding. Growth also comes from facing fear directly. Public speaking, leadership, asking difficult questions, or pursuing dreams beyond current capabilities feels terrifying. Most people choose comfort, avoiding exposure, embarrassment, or failure. Those who choose growth step into fear with determination. They speak, they lead, they risk. The discomfort becomes training for confidence, resilience, and mastery. Over time, what once caused fear becomes a source of power, opportunity, and influence. Life's lessons are rarely delivered in comfort. Challenges, failures, setbacks, and struggles are designed to teach, to build strength, and to expand potential. The person who sees discomfort as a signal of growth embraces it. They see every obstacle as a chance to improve, every failure as a blueprint for success, and every challenge as a classroom for wisdom. Comfort may feel safe, but it is also limiting, confining, and ultimately unsatisfying. Growth is uncomfortable, but it is transformative, empowering, and liberating. Even in simple daily decisions, the principle applies. A difficult conversation with a colleague, a new responsibility at work, a commitment to study or practice, a choice to face a fear, or a decision to challenge personal habits, all of these involve discomfort. The mind that prioritizes comfort shrinks, hides, and avoids. The mind that prioritizes growth leans in, explores, and conquers. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you strengthen your resilience, expand your abilities, and elevate your life. Growth is not occasional, it is intentional. It is a daily commitment to see opportunity in struggle, to embrace challenge as fuel, and to refuse the illusion of comfort as a permanent goal. The person focused on growth understands that life will always be uncomfortable, that the path to excellence is lined with resistance, and that the greatest rewards are reserved for those who endure temporary discomfort in pursuit of lasting transformation. Growth demands courage, discipline, and persistence, and every challenge accepted becomes a victory of mind, spirit, and character. The person who focuses on comfort may feel safe, secure, and undisturbed in the short term, but their life remains limited. The person who focuses on growth faces uncertainty, challenges, and struggle, yet builds strength, wisdom, and capability. Discomfort becomes a teacher, adversity becomes a guide, and life becomes a journey of continuous expansion. Every challenge embraced, every fear confronted, every limitation tested, creates a version of yourself that comfort could never produce, and positions you for success, fulfillment, and impact far beyond what you imagined. Every morning when you wake up, you have an incredible opportunity. Before the world speaks to you, before distractions, doubts, or fears flood your mind, you have the power to speak to yourself. Affirming your vision is not just a motivational phrase, it is a declaration of intent, a conversation with your destiny, and a daily investment in your future. Most people wait for circumstances to validate them, for others to recognize their worth, or for success to arrive before believing they are capable. But the person who affirms their vision understands that belief precedes reality, that speaking positive truths over your life creates the foundation upon which success is built. Consider the student who dreams of becoming a great speaker. The tests, challenges, and critics can easily make them doubt themselves. The natural tendency is to focus on failure, rejection, or what others say. But when the student begins to affirm their vision, repeating truths like, I am capable, I am prepared, I am growing every day, and I will inspire others with my voice. Something begins to shift. The mind, once clouded by doubt, becomes a fertile ground for confidence. The energy they bring to practice, study, and speaking engagements transforms fear into preparation, hesitation into courage, and dreams into actions that create momentum toward their vision. Daily life is filled with opportunities to affirm your vision. A young professional entering a demanding work environment may feel overwhelmed by expectations, office politics, or competition. Instead of succumbing to fear or comparison, they choose to affirm, I am resilient, I am capable, I am growing in skill and influence every day. This affirmation does not magically remove obstacles, but it shapes their perception, energizes their actions, and fuels persistence. The tasks that once seemed impossible become achievable because the mind believes in the outcome before it manifests in reality. Relationships also respond to the power of affirmation. Imagine a person working on a strained relationship with a family member or friend. The natural focus may be on tension, misunderstanding, or past hurt. But by affirming their vision, I am patient, I am loving, I communicate with clarity, and I build harmony, their energy shifts. They respond with intentionality rather than reaction, creating opportunities for reconciliation, understanding, and connection. The affirmations act as a compass, guiding behavior in ways that align with the outcome they desire rather than the negative patterns of the past. Financial goals are another arena where affirming your vision changes everything. The person who dreams of financial independence may face debt, limited income, or scarcity thinking. The easy path is to feel defeated, to delay, or to conform to mediocrity. But affirmations such as, I am resourceful, I create opportunities, I manage money wisely, and abundance flows to me in perfect timing, rewire the mind. The individual begins to notice opportunities they once overlooked, make decisions aligned with growth rather than fear, and take consistent action that moves them toward financial freedom. Affirming the vision transforms uncertainty into clarity and inaction into progress. Even in personal growth and health, affirming your vision produces results. A person seeking to become stronger, healthier, or more disciplined may encounter days of resistance, laziness, or discouragement. Affirming daily, I am disciplined, I am committed, I am improving every day, and my body and mind are strong, creates focus and determination. The mind, empowered by spoken truths, pushes the body to act, the habits to solidify, and the results to accumulate. The affirmation acts as a steady guide through moments of weakness, keeping vision alive when circumstances tempt surrender. Life is unpredictable, and challenges will arise to test your resolve. A car breaks down, a project fails, a friend betrays, or a plan collapses. The person who has affirmed their vision responds differently. Instead of despair, they remind themselves of their truth. I am resilient, I am capable, I am designed to overcome, and this challenge is temporary. The affirmation strengthens their perspective, allows them to see solutions rather than obstacles, and aligns energy with action rather than reaction. Every difficulty becomes a proving ground for the vision they have declared aloud every day. Affirming your vision is also a declaration of self-respect and personal authority. Too often, people allow negative self-talk, criticism from others, or societal pressures to define them. Affirmations reclaim the mind, soul, and energy, setting boundaries for what your life will and will not be shaped by. Speaking positive truths over yourself is not arrogance. It is recognition of potential, acknowledgement of purpose, and commitment to living intentionally. It is the conscious refusal to allow doubt, fear, or criticism to dictate the course of your life. Even small, daily actions magnify the power of affirmations. The person who affirms their vision consistently approaches work with focus, conversations with clarity, and decisions with courage. They wake up aligned with intention, respond to setbacks with resilience, and persist when others quit. Each affirmation is a seed planted in the mind, nurtured by belief, watered by action, and eventually grown into visible reality. The words spoken over your life daily are more than thoughts. They are the blueprint for what your life will become. Affirming your vision is also contagious. The energy you carry inspires others, draws opportunities, and builds momentum. People naturally respond to those who demonstrate belief, purpose, and intentionality. The vision you declare aloud not only strengthens your mind but influences your environment, creating a ripple effect that attracts collaboration, support, and alignment with your purpose. Every word spoken over your life becomes a tool for transformation, shaping not only what you become, but also the energy you bring into every relationship, project, and encounter. When life challenges your dreams, when doubt whispers, when circumstances seem unfair, affirm your vision louder. Remind yourself daily, "Oh, I am resilient, I am capable, I am designed to overcome, I am becoming all that I am meant to be." These words are not empty, they are life-altering. The more consistently you affirm your vision, the more your mind aligns with possibility, your actions align with purpose, and your life begins to move in the direction of your deepest intentions. Affirmation is the daily exercise that transforms dreams into reality, weakness into strength, and ordinary living into extraordinary fulfillment. Life is a journey filled with countless moments, challenges, and opportunities to respond differently than we did yesterday. Yet most people focus only on the big achievements, the milestones that seem significant to the world, while overlooking the subtle yet powerful victories that happen every day. Celebrating small victories is not trivial. It is the fuel that reinforces a new mindset, the spark that keeps your motivation alive, and the proof that transformation is occurring even when it seems invisible. The mind that recognizes and celebrates small wins understands that every step forward, no matter how tiny, is a declaration of progress and growth. Consider someone trying to manage their anger or frustration for the first time. They may notice that today, instead of shouting during a heated conversation, they paused and responded calmly. The action may seem minor, insignificant even, but celebrating that moment reinforces the new pattern in the brain. It tells the mind, "This works, this is powerful, this is the new way." Without acknowledging this victory, the mind may slip back into old habits, thinking that progress is slow or non-existent. Celebrating small victories creates momentum, and momentum transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Daily life is full of these small opportunities. A person learning to exercise discipline in their finances might manage to avoid an unnecessary purchase today. This act may feel minor, a simple no to temptation, but recognizing it as a victory strengthens self-control. It proves to the individual that they are capable of resisting impulse, that they are growing in wisdom, and that each small choice compounds into long-term financial stability. Every small yes or small no becomes a building block toward a life of abundance. Relationships are another arena where celebrating small victories transforms dynamics. Imagine a parent who chooses patience instead of anger when a child makes a mistake. They could focus on the frustration, the mess, or the inconvenience. But if they pause to recognize their self-control and intentional response, they reinforce the behavior in themselves. The parent may say, even quietly to themselves, "I handled this calmly, I responded with love, and this is progress." This internal acknowledgement strengthens the ability to continue responding with patience, creating a ripple effect that improves the relationship over time. Even professional life benefits from celebrating small victories. An employee who successfully navigates a difficult meeting without reacting defensively, or a leader who listens attentively before responding to criticism, may not be praised externally, but internally recognizing these moments reinforces confidence, emotional intelligence, and mastery. Small victories are like deposits in the bank of self-efficacy. They accumulate silently until they become visible in significant achievements. Each time you acknowledge progress, you are training your mind to expect improvement, to value effort, and to pursue excellence consistently. Celebrating small victories also transforms personal growth and mental resilience. Someone learning to adopt a positive mindset may notice small changes, pausing before reacting, responding with gratitude, or choosing optimism in a challenging situation. These moments might seem too small to matter, but each one strengthens neural pathways, builds habit, and reshapes perspective. When the mind recognizes these tiny achievements, it creates feedback loops of encouragement. The celebration, even private and quiet, tells the subconscious, "You are evolving, you are capable, and every step forward matters." Think about a person who is overcoming fear, maybe learning to speak in public. Their first small victory may be standing before a mirror and speaking with clarity, or answering a question without hesitation in a small group. If they ignore this victory, their mind may continue to focus on fear, failures, or imagined shortcomings. But when they celebrate this moment, acknowledge it, and take pride in it, they create energy for the next step. Each small victory becomes a stepping stone to courage, confidence, and mastery. In health and wellness, small victories are crucial. Someone trying to improve their fitness might celebrate completing an extra set of exercises, walking an extra mile, or resisting unhealthy food choices. The acknowledgement is not just a pat on the back, it rewires the brain to associate effort with reward. This builds resilience, reinforces consistency, and cultivates a mindset that sees progress in every effort. Without celebrating these moments, people often feel stuck, unmotivated, or discouraged by the long journey ahead. Celebrating small victories transforms the journey itself into a source of joy and motivation. Even in moments of emotional growth, the principle holds. If someone successfully controls their reaction to criticism, resists gossip, or chooses forgiveness over resentment, these are victories that deserve recognition. The mind thrives on reinforcement. Acknowledging success, even quietly, signals that the new behavior is powerful, effective, and worthy of repetition. Without celebration, the mind can forget progress, focusing only on failures or setbacks. Every small victory acknowledged strengthens the pattern of intentional, positive behavior. Small victories also shift perspective from scarcity to abundance. When you recognize every small step forward, you stop waiting for validation from others or for life to provide a monumental moment. You learn to see that progress exists everywhere, in tiny increments, and that life is not only about dramatic success, but also about consistent, conscious improvement. This mindset transforms frustration into gratitude, despair into hope, and ordinary effort into extraordinary momentum. Celebrating small victories is the art of recognizing that transformation is a process, that growth is cumulative, and that every intentional act shapes your future. Whether it is responding differently in a conversation, completing a task you procrastinated on, resisting temptation, or choosing patience in the face of irritation, acknowledging your success reinforces the new mindset. It reminds your mind, your heart, and your spirit that change is real, progress is happening, and you are capable of achieving far more than you once believed. As we come to the close of this journey together, I want you to pause and reflect on the power you hold within yourself. Every thought you have, every choice you make, every action you take is a declaration of who you are and who you are becoming. Life will push, test, challenge, and surprise you, but the mind that has been trained to see the good, respond differently, anticipate positive outcomes, and celebrate every step of progress will never be defeated. The world may not recognize your victories immediately, circumstances may seem heavy, and obstacles may appear insurmountable, but your commitment to seeing possibilities rather than problems, to embracing growth rather than comfort, and to affirming your vision daily is what shapes destiny. Remember that success is not an event. It is a series of intentional steps, and greatness is not given. It is earned through persistence, focus, and unwavering belief in your potential. Think of the great leaders, visionaries, and pioneers who walked before us. They were not immune to doubt, fear, or failure, yet they refused to allow temporary setbacks to define them. Nelson Mandela endured decades of imprisonment, yet he never allowed anger, bitterness, or despair to dominate his mind. He anticipated a positive outcome, celebrated small victories, and responded to life's challenges with patience and wisdom. He saw the good in people even when they opposed him, and he understood that true leadership comes from self-mastery and vision. Your life is no different. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to rise, to respond differently, and to move closer to the life you were designed to live. When Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before creating the light bulb, he did not see failure. He saw learning. He affirmed his vision daily and celebrated the small victories of progress with every experiment that worked even partially. He understood that each setback was not the end, but a step towards success. If he had allowed discouragement, negativity, or doubt to take root, the world would never have been illuminated. Your mind is capable of the same extraordinary feats if you commit to training it to anticipate good, respond with intentionality, and focus on growth rather than comfort. Your destiny is waiting, but it requires your conscious, disciplined participation. Remember the words of Walt Disney, who said, "All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them." Courage does not mean the absence of fear. It means stepping forward despite fear, choosing action despite uncertainty, and believing in your vision when the world doubts it. Every time you pause before reacting, every time you see the good in others, every time you affirm your vision, and every time you celebrate a small victory, you are practicing courage. Courage is the bridge between intention and manifestation. Courage is the engine of personal transformation, and courage is the force that moves you from ordinary to extraordinary. Life is not about waiting for perfect circumstances, nor is it about avoiding struggle. It is about mastering yourself, your mind, and your perspective. The person who consistently sees the good in everything, responds differently to challenges, anticipates positive outcomes, trains the mind for growth, and celebrates victories, no matter how small, creates an unstoppable momentum that circumstances cannot resist. Obstacles become opportunities, challenges become lessons, and life transforms from a series of random events into a purposeful journey toward greatness. Remember, it is not what happens to you that defines you. It is how you respond, how you think, and how you choose to see every situation that determines the shape of your destiny. Consider the words of Winston Churchill, who said, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts." Every time life pushes you down, every time disappointment knocks on your door, every time you face criticism, rejection, or betrayal, you have a choice. You can allow those moments to define you, or you can rise above them, learn from them, and respond differently. Greatness is cultivated in the soil of adversity. The mind that refuses to be defeated, that continues to seek the good, that celebrates progress and affirms vision, will always rise. Every challenge, every failure, every setback is an opportunity to demonstrate the strength, resilience, and wisdom that already exists within you. You must understand that your mind is the most powerful instrument you possess. It is the seed from which every dream, every success, and every victory grows. If you feed it with fear, doubt, and negativity, it will yield limitations, frustration, and failure. If you feed it with positive expectations, vision, and the celebration of progress, it will yield courage, clarity, and results beyond imagination. The world does not determine your reality, your mind does. The daily choices you make, the perspective you cultivate, and the energy you bring to every moment define the quality of your life. So today, I challenge you to commit to training your mind. See the good where others see chaos. Respond differently where others react impulsively. Anticipate positive outcomes where others fear failure. Focus on growth where others seek comfort. Affirm your vision where others succumb to doubt. Celebrate every victory, no matter how small, for each is proof that progress is happening. Remember that life is a mirror, reflecting back what you consistently project. If you project faith, hope, positivity, and courage, the world around you will begin to shift. If you project negativity, doubt, and fear, the world will mirror that energy back to you. As you move forward from this moment, carry these principles like a shield, a compass, and a torch. Let them guide your actions, protect your energy, and illuminate your path. Know that your response to life is your greatest power. Know that every small step, every disciplined choice, and every intentional thought compounds over time to create extraordinary results. Remember the words of Les Brown, "Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you will land among the stars." Your potential is limitless, your mind is capable, and your life is a canvas upon which you can paint greatness. So go forth with courage, with clarity, and with conviction. Respond differently, see the good, anticipate positive outcomes, and celebrate your victories. Train your mind to master your life, and every push from life will become a stepping stone, every challenge a teacher, and every day a new opportunity to rise higher than ever before. I want you to hear me clearly. This is not a one-time exercise. This is a lifestyle. Your mind is a garden. If you plant seeds of fear, doubt, and resentment, you will harvest struggle. If you plant seeds of positivity, gratitude, and resilience, you will harvest success. Every time life pushes you, you have a choice to react the same old way or to respond in a way that elevates you. Every time. Think about the people you admire most. They are not extraordinary because life was easy. They are extraordinary because they trained their minds to see the good, and they responded differently than everyone else when life pressed on them. Their mindset is their superpower, and the same superpower exists in you. It is untapped, waiting for your discipline, your awareness, your commitment. So from this day forward, make a decision. Train your mind relentlessly. Look for the good where others see none. Respond to challenges in ways that surprise not just the world, but yourself. You will fail sometimes. Yes, of course. But even your failures will be better than your previous responses because your mind is learning, evolving, and conquering. Life will continue to push you. Life will continue to test you. But now you know the secret. See the good, respond differently, and transform every challenge into a victory. Make your mind your most loyal ally. Make your thoughts your strongest weapon. And remember, the greatest battles are not fought outside, but within. Win the battles in your mind, and you will win everything else. You can live a life that is extraordinary, not because circumstances were kind, but because your mind was trained to be stronger than any circumstance. Life will push, people will disappoint, opportunities may fail. But your mind will see the good, your heart will respond with courage, and your spirit will rise every single time. There is no limit to the life you can live when you master this principle. And so, I challenge you today, don't react the way you used to. Train your mind. See the good. Respond differently. Every single time life pushes you.